If you feel like God doesn't speak to you or you haven't heard his voice, I want you to watch this video. I didn't want to come on here and make this long video, but I feel like whoever this is for, they're going to watch it all the way through and it's going to help and change their life. I'm about to give you my testimony of how I heard God's voice and how I began to understand how he speaks. So around this time of my walk with Christ, I was growing a close relationship with him, but I felt like the only thing that was missing was I didn't understand how he communicated with me. It was like I never heard him like I heard other people tell me that they heard him, and I was very frustrated and felt very alone. And so he gave me 2 dreams within the span of last year that changed my life forever. I'm not lying to y'all, this is the first dream. So I went to sleep one night and I was scrolling on my phone and I looked down and I see an Instagram account text me on my phone. The Instagram account name was G-O-D, God with a period and a blue verified check mark. So I'm like freaking out, like, did God just DM me? Like, hold on. So I go to check my DMs. Mind you, this is in the dream. I go to check my DMs and he's like texting me like different instructions. Like God literally is texting me in his dream. I'm texting him like, God, when did you get an Instagram? How did you get an Instagram account? And guess what his response was, y'all? God said, didn't I tell you I know how to reach you? So I wake up from that dream and I'm like, oh my gosh, God literally texted me. Like he was letting me know that he knows how to communicate with me, even if it's not the traditional way of communicating. So around this time, I was still feeling very frustrated. This was actually about 2 years ago. And I just felt alone. I was in my separation season. There wasn't a lot of people around. I felt abandoned and felt like God wasn't communicating. Not knowing that that was the season God was using to teach me his voice instead of having all these other voices around me that could distract me from his voice in the first place. Anyways, I went to sleep one night and in the dream I appeared in this room that was like a classroom, but not really a classroom. Like there was a chef that was teaching other people like instructions, and I could tell from his demeanor that he was very strict, very stern, don't like a lot of nonsense. And he stopped what he was doing in the middle of him being focused on what he was saying to the people, and he looked at me and he said, "You are so beautiful." And when I tell y'all I was so flattered, my heart was like bubbling. Like it wasn't like he was flirting with me, but it was like it was such a genuine compliment. Boom, that happened out of nowhere. Poof, I'm in another location. I'm sitting in a car laying on a friend of mine's lap, and no words are being said. Like I'm in the back seat, I'm laying on her lap, and we just going on a car ride, and I just feel so safe. I feel secure. After like a few seconds, boom, the scene changes again. And I'm outside with some friends, like at this like park or something. The weather, the temperature is nice. I see butterflies flying around. I look down, there's a flower. I can smell the flower. The flower smelled good. Like, I'm like, take a picture of me with this flower. Like, I'm just posing. Like, I just feel the joy of the Lord, right? So I wake up from this dream and I tell my mom she was somebody that I went to when I wanted direction from God because I didn't know how to receive it for myself. I was like, well, I had this dream last night and I have no idea what it means. And I explained it to her and she goes, Victoria, the Lord just said that he's showing you that he's everywhere. He's in a smile. He's in a compliment from a stranger. He's in a comfort and a warm hug. He's in everything. He is in the air that you breathe. And it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing. He's right there at all times. And it was in that moment that it hit me that God was not far away from me. He is here right now. He's surrounding me. Jesus lives on the inside of me. A year later, fast forward, I'm looking back at my testimony, looking back at my dream and how I'm beginning to hear and learn the voice of the Lord. Even today, I'm still learning his voice. And I said, well, God, why was I so upset at you for not speaking to me? He said, Victoria, you weren't angry at me because I wasn't speaking to you. You were angry at me because you felt like the way that you wanted me to communicate with you was the only way that you could understand me. He said, I created you. I know how to get your attention. I know how to reach you. That's not an issue for me. I made you. So just because that's a comfortable form of communication for you does not mean that I can't go outside of that normal means and still get your attention. Even when you don't hear me, it doesn't mean I'm not speaking. I want you to know that God speaks in many ways and shapes and forms, dreams, visions, people, situations. So open your eyes and expect him in more ways than one.